beautiful. Keep your head up. It don't matter. Don't be discouraged. It don't matter. Let the world know that it don't matter. Be your own kind of beautiful. Beauty is so beautiful. Plus size is so wonderful. Being thick has benefits. I'm not your ordinary cheek. I've got a lot of love to share with long, short, and nappy hair. Take your time to let you know am I all kind of beautiful. So think it, you sexy girl. Don't you be ashamed. No, 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 no. You're beautiful. You're so beautiful. If you got size, it don't matter. If you got curves, it don't matter. Maybe a little thick, it don't matter. Be your own kind of beautiful. Keep your head up, it don't matter. Don't be discouraged, it don't matter. Let the world know that it don't matter. Be your own kind of beautiful. Beauty is so beautiful. Plus size is so wonderful. Being thick has benefits. I'm not your ordinary cheek. I've got a lot of love to share with long, short, and nappy hair. Take your time to let you know am I all kind of beautiful. So think it's a sexy girl. Don't you be ashamed. No, 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 no.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jamila J Girl Talk, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. Chuck, why are you laughing? You thought I was going to say
Hey,
Lele, right? Huh?
nah. I'm always, I'm always smile before I come on. Just set the tone.
Oh, okay. We still got the theme music going on. So welcome to Jamila J Girl Talk.
Whose phone is
Whose
that?
phone is on? I turned my phones down. Put your phones on mute. So Jamila J Girl Talk.
Whose phone is that? I don't
Phones down.
know who that is.
So, all right. Phones down. Can you mute it?
No.
All right. So
Let me
welcome
see.
to Jamila J Girl Talk,
I'll tell you who it
Mind,
is.
Body, Soul, and Business. And today, Chuck, I want to say happy second anniversary on Feel Good Talk. Congratulations. I know we had a big to do on Thursday night, but I just want to say congratulations again. And some things I didn't have opportunity to say, so this is my show and I can say it, right? You are the epitome of feel good because people come on here and we have a half an hour before the show sometimes, and you really warm people up. You make them feel comfortable. You make them feel at home. And I think when they do get on live,
Mhm.
they're ready to cry. You've already set them up because you make them feel comfortable. You make them
Right.
feel at home.
Mhm.
And the other thing I want to say about you, Chuck, you always gave me the freedom to be myself.
Oh.
And all my ideas I have is like, Chuck, let's give away money. Yeah, let's do it. Chuck, let's do a dance party. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a talent show. I mean, you never said no to me. You never said that don't make no sense. You've always been, 100%. I call you during the week. I call you about personal things, and you've always been the same person you are now. And so I just want to give that appreciation to you and make it everybody feel good. You never judge people. You never like Jamila. No, we can't talk about why women cheat. We can't talk. You never said no to me. No how many ideas I have. You've always been open, and I appreciate that. And Lay, thank you for coming. And how did you feel the first time you came on the show? Because you ain't left.
Well, I was going to just expound on that. And you're completely right about Chuck. Chuck have that communication. He's fit for what he's doing right now, and that's a good thing.
Thank you.
I could tell, when a person is a people person and when they're not a people person. And Chuck and also you, Jamila, definitely is a people person. When I first came on, even though I'm used to speaking on radio, and TV stations, but it's the people delivery and the comfortability that make a person that want to open up and reveal anything that they want to reveal, and y'all do it pretty good.
Thank you, man. Hey, thank you. I just want to say thank you again, for that congratulations on the 2 year. But 2 years, it couldn't be possible without you and the Feel Good Talk family. So I want to give y'all, congratulations to y'all as well, because without y'all, it wouldn't even be possible. So again, I appreciate that. Again, you're also very, very easy to talk to. You're a people's person. And when I first saw you and we first connected, I said, wow, she has it. So whatever you come up with, I'm rocking. You know what I mean? So I know it's great. As far as Lele, man, ever since you came on, bro, this has always been a great connection. I enjoy you, your knowledge, your wisdom, even your comedic side. You know what I'm saying? I love it. You know what I mean? So we have a great time behind the scenes and off the scenes. And I just want to say, Karen, also, you've been a part of the Feel Good family for a long time. So thank you for coming on with your wisdom. I mean, when I say wisdom, that's with a capital W. You know what I'm saying? So again, thanks for coming on with your wisdom and your knowledge and giving us something to look forward to each and every time you come on and bless the airwaves of Feel Good Talk. Wherever you're at, I don't care which show you're on, you're always blessing it. So again, thank y'all, because without y'all, it would be nothing. So again, I take my hats off to all y'all.
Thank you.
Karen, did you want to say something about the first time you came on, or the first time you encountered Chuck, besides not spelling your name right?
Yeah, she's ready to get on me. She's ready to take me out, man.
No. Let me tell you, it's okay. I grew up with my name being messed up, so it is okay. I will say I appreciate Chuck. I love his drive. I love his passion. And I love what everybody said, because it is true. I'm one of those people that say, wait a minute. But no, it is so true for somebody to be so giving and want to keep giving. And I know he get tired, because we all get tired, but he never fails. That's what I like to say about his Feel Good Talk. He never fails. If he's sitting on the beach, if he's on a train, wherever he at, he's going to try to make it work. And I think that's that passion that he has inside of him for everybody. So I appreciate you. And I think I tell you this most of the time when I talk to you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I apprate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
He definitely showed that when he was in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He sure did. Yeah.
I try to get on whenever I can. I don't care if I'm on vacation or whatever. If I got to be there, I got to be there. That's it.
That's right.
So today's show, we talked about being healthy and building our immune system during this pandemic, and just trying to be healthy all over. And today I want to talk a little bit about being healthy spiritually and mentally, emotionally. And I wanted to bring Karen on because I know if you haven't heard her story, she's going to tell you a little bit about her story. But I know Karen has helped me, and she's been so gracious to extend her knowledge as a social worker to me when my friend died over overdose. And she was there for me, and I would call her outside the show. She came on the show a couple of times, and, it really helped me figure out why women take abuse from men, and it helped me get through it. And so I just wanted to thank you, Karen, for doing that for us, and and Naeem, of course, and hopefully we helped other women that were going through that abuse. And so I want to go back. I have the other book, but I know you have 4 books. But I want you to, and especially Lay, we want to catch Lay up on
Yes, please.
your foundation of how things happen to you in your life?
First, I want to say thank you for having me back on the show again. I get invited for shows. I get invited to minister. I'm a minister. My husband's a pastor. I get invited to minister, preach, and different things. And I will tell everyone this. I always want to say no, but I can't, because speaking is actually helping me more than it's helping the people that's listening. But let me say, I smile and all that stuff, but inside me want to say no, because I hurt like everybody else.
Mhm.
But God said, nope, you got to do it. So when we talk about my books, I actually started writing my life story years ago, but I was one of those people that kept in the back of my mind, I can't share this part of the story because I'm gonna hurt that person's feelings. I can't share that part of the story because us Black folks don't talk about that. You know, I can't share this because who's gonna stop talking to me? But years, I started drafts. I mean, I have copies of so many drafts, and when I started writing a book, I want to say it probably was like 2002 that I just started, and I started with an attitude. A young lady came into my office. She was all upset, and you know, she don't know what she want, if she want to live anymore. She can't save this boy, and I mean, she was going through the motions. And I remember saying, it's time to tell my story because of people like her. She has to understand how important she is. Now, rest her soul, because she has since passed away. And it felt so good for me to hold this book in my hand and hug her mother one day and say, the young lady I'm referencing, why I started writing this, was your daughter. You know, so you just never know what hits deep from 10 years ago, from 20 years ago. But I sat there, a young girl growing up with a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. And back in our time, you know, we didn't know what anxiety was. They didn't classify that yet. Right. It was some ginger ale and crackers and take a nap, you're gonna be okay. Right. So nowadays I know I was having anxiety attacks. I know when I was trying to fall asleep and I would dream of a ball the size of a marble just start getting bigger in an empty room, which I now know to be the room of my grandmother's old house after my mother passed that I had to live in. And the ball keeps growing, but as it grows, it's suffocating me and I can't breathe. I didn't know I was having anxiety attacks. So I started writing this. And after my grandmother passed, I pulled the drafts out and I said, it's time. You know, I don't know what was telling me. I know it was God, but I always, you know, I said, I don't know what was telling me to share your story. I pushed drafts this much. I pulled about 10 lines out of this many drafts and wrote a whole nother book in 3 weeks.
Wow.
What I was led to, Karen, go to your closet. There was a folder, a billfold my grandmother gave me that had letters. When she gave me these letters after my brother committed suicide several years prior, she made my then ex-husband bring me to her house, and she said, it's time. We have to stop hiding the truth. And I didn't want it. I'm like, I got sisters. Why you call me? I don't want it. I didn't want the letters. I didn't want the truth. I didn't want facts. So I put them into a closet. When I moved, I just packed them up and kept carrying them. Right. But then this one night I sat there and I finally opened them up and sat them down and I started reading. And I just had these wow moments like, oh my God. So I immediately started piecing the puzzle together. And that's when this book came to light. And the way this book had to come to light, I had to put closure on my mother's death before I can understand why I went through what I went through. I had to understand why she wrote the last letter she wrote that I finally understood. I had to understand why my father may have wrote the last letter he wrote to her a month before she was murdered by a lady, my namesake. That made me understand why I didn't like my name. You know, so I started understanding what these layers were that I had to pull off in order to breathe. So this book, one breath at a time, a little girl remembers to breathe. Through it all. We can't just breathe today. We got to understand how to breathe through it all. So I start with my mom's death. And I mean, the book it's hard. You know, people read it and ask me questions. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I wrote that. Let me go back, you know, because the mental part of my mind said, I need you to release it, but I need you to release it.
Right. So
when I wrote this book, I had some aunts call me and some family, even a lady I don't know who knew me when I was a baby. She messaged me on Facebook and said, I want to thank you for this book. I was friends with your mother in school. And she said, but most of all, I want to thank you for how tastefully you wrote it. This little girl is trying to understand why her mother didn't come back around the corner. But then I learned we was with her. I don't remember. It's mentally blocked. My mother was told by a friend, come around the corner. Your friend wants you. But then a fight, an altercation, she gets stabbed because I don't know. I guess my dad want to go back with my mom. You know, it's like a movie. When people say my life is like a movie, we need to start believing people. We need to stop minimizing the facts that are happening. We need to stop minimizing the hurt. So this book talks about how after that tragedy, what this little girl and my siblings had to endure because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of hope, because of lack of understanding, because we're going to whisper and we're going to just take care of Pat's kids, but we're not going to take care of Pat's kids. And when I say that, as far as like being honest and talking. So what that led was my father getting remarried, and then boom, instantly I'm molested by a stepbrother, because in a stepbrother's mind, I'm not related to her. I just met her. I don't know her. So I do a lot of advocacy about children. My husband said he prayed for me every day when I walk out this house. He said his knees probably hurt more than any other preacher, husband, whatever. Wow. Because I'm not, I created a training called Nice Nosy. I am that nice nosy person. I'm going to step up for them children. I'm going to be the voice. I'm going to ask you in the supermarket, are you okay? Because the child can't. Because I understand the eyes. I always say, take something like this. Pull out one of your old school pictures and go like this. And just look at the eyes. Don't stop paying attention to how the kids are smiling. Pay attention to the eyes. You know when somebody's hurting.
The eyes don't lie.
They don't lie. So that's why I had to do this. The first book you were talking about, Jamila. And this book does leave you with a little cliffhanger. It leaves you with a paragraph. And this paragraph, you're going to see the next book that picks up from this, which is called Breathing. And it's Breathing Life, a Mere Memoir. So because we all have a story. So that book picks up with this paragraph, and then boom. And that this book highlights the sexual assault I had to deal with and a bunch of other issues. The next book highlights the domestic violence I had to deal with, because thinking the grass was greener on the other side, I said I do to somebody I should have had not said I do to. But a 22-year-old girl who has been through all this did not know no better. So that book talks about that. And both of the books, I try to give pointers and tips and encouragement where people understand you're not the only one. You know, we're good. So after I figure I'm good and, you know, hallelujah, I'm 49 years old. Life is going to be so good. I could live the next 50 years way better than the last 49 years. The biggest tragedy that could have happened to me happened. I talk about it in the next book. I was hesitant to talk about it in the next book because I thought I was going to end it with the fairy tale wedding with my current husband, because I thought fairy tales would come true. But then I will never forget the 3 hardest knocks on my door. And I have a doorbell, but I will never forget the 3 hardest knocks on my door early one morning, just to open it and see 2 officers. We all know what it means when you see 2 police officers or 2 military officers. You know, I knew, but I didn't know who, because I had 3 grown sons at the time. So I'm like, okay, 1 didn't live with me, 2 lived with me, but you know, kids, they was grown. I don't know if somebody went out at midnight, you know? So when they start asking questions and different things, then it's like, whew. Now I'm standing here alone. I've done trainings with police officers, you know, FBI. I don't work with so many different organizations. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, the hurt, I pushed it a little bit because I'm looking at these officers, and now I had to go on their side. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, officers. I think I know what you're getting ready to say, but can you come in for a second? Because I need to go get my husband. What you're going to tell me is something I probably shouldn't hear by myself. Right. I was a little dumbfounded for about an hour because that teaching moment came in. Like, do I need to come on this side and say, wait a minute, before I grieve, I need to teach you how to knock on a door. I need to teach you what to say to somebody. So it's just weird how life works. So then I get the news I lost my middle child in a bad car accident, which was when I was in the process of writing this journal. And then this picture on this journal, actually all my books, I pretty much do the pictures myself, except for the collaboration. The first time I was able to go outside after I lost him, and this is when me and my sister were going to plan a 50th birthday party, several months ago. And so I'm like, I can never have this party because he won't be there. So I finally can get dressed. I go to the park and I'm sitting at the park. I walk around. I had a baseball cap on because I don't want nobody to talk to me. For about 6 hours, I'm sitting at a local park. I sit at a bench and I'm just like, why, God? You created me, so I'm gonna ask these questions. You created me, so I'm pissed off. You created me, so I'm suffering. So since you created me, I need you to help me. And as I look up, the sun was setting, and that's this picture. So it's like we don't think about different things in our life. So as I tried to finish this last book, hallelujah, that I sent to my publisher and signed the contract for. So
congratulations on that.
Thank you. As I completed that, I said, I think I can breathe again because I think I'm starting to understand. And my publisher, which is Julia Royston with BK Royston Publishing, who I love, she says my mantra is breathing. So I had to tie it together because I got one breath at a time. I got read, breathe, journal, and now I have breathing. Because sometimes when we're going through life, we don't remember to breathe. Now, people tell you, oh, go rest, go do this, go do that. But we don't pull back and breathe because what happens when you lose somebody? What happens when somebody gets raped and they got to go to the hospital and go through all these tests? What happens when somebody gets abused and the cops come? They're asking you 5 trillion questions, but nobody's telling you to breathe for a second, to pull back. And then we'll talk when you're ready. The system just fails us over and over again. So now it's the time for us to come out. And what is the name of this show? Feel Good Talk. So we can feel good about so we can feel good about being a part of a society that cares. So we can feel good about sharing our story and not paying attention to the naysayers in the background that's saying, oh, I don't believe all that. Nobody could have went through all that. Somebody asked me the question once. She sent me a message. Some of the messages I get, I'm just like, whoo. Sometimes I just got to push the phone to my husband because I'm an emotional person. I wasn't crying before the show started. My husband bought me flowers for my birthday. And let me tell you, I just looked at my sister and said, can you put them flowers in the kitchen? Because they're killing my eyes.
But Karen, this is the 4th book then, right?
That's the 3rd one.
Oh, this is the 3rd one.
Yes.
Okay.
This book right here, let me tell you, this book is this is like on my heart. These sisters right here. This is my publisher in the back. Then we have Sister Elgina, we have Sister Marquise, and we have Sister Cassandra. We all have suffered a great loss. So years ago, Sister Elgina had an idea. She wanted to come up with a book. You know how you pick up a devotional book and it has little short stories in it or whatever. So we all have a little short type story, but the way the story is, it ties in the hurt, the pain, the suffering, but not just that, how we're coping and dealing with it. So we all bought these, we made these books, we bought them, and I think we've all gave away more than we sold because it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about somebody understanding that we understand.
Right.
So sometimes I go back and I read it, I hear stuff. I don't see the best the older I get. I should have my glasses on, but where I live is not far from a train track. It's far enough, but it's not far. And I will be sitting in a crowded office and somebody be like, what are you doing? I said, I'm listening to the train go by. They're like, how in the world do you hear that? Or I hear the church bells. And I know that ain't nothing but God saying, I need you to pause and breathe for a second and understand. The hurt I have is I live close to a hospital. I am that one person my whole life. If I'm driving around and I see little stakes in the side of the street and they got flowers, I'm like this. I'm praying for a family I don't know. I hear the helicopter comes over because we're a small rural town. I hear the helicopter come. I can hear it land on his pad. I hear it about an hour later, lift up to go to one of the main hospitals. I'm praying for the unknown. I hear the sirens, but on the night I lost my child, I heard no sirens. I heard nothing, which I find to be so weird that I hear it every other time except for that one time. And he was the one I always said, put that seatbelt on. Please be careful. Where you going this time? You know, he was that one. And I'm like, now I see the signs and I see the preparation that was ahead of what was to come. And that's with everything. That's with this. Yeah. Until I wrote it and reread it and then looked at it, I'm like, now I see. So my goal when I go speak to people is that they start to see, they start to understand, they start to pray a little more. People say, I don't understand how you do it. I said, okay, let me show. Okay, I got these 3 books. Yes, these three books are important, but they're not that important. These 3 books are important.
Yeah. Karen. Wow. Okay, Lay, you see why I said it's a lot, right?
No,
you have any questions?
A lot. And you know, just like they said, healing is when you expressing yourself and speaking about it. You know, just like you spoke about earlier. Some people don't express or keep everything in, you know, and probably because of fright, they frighten or how people going to think or feel about them. Not knowing the process of healing is to evade your information. This is how you release the body. And I'm sorry you went through a whole lot. And a lot of people went through a whole lot in life, but some more than others. And some could take it and some can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you got to understand the things that you have went through. We have 300 million people in society and plus around the world more. Now, out of 300 million people, how many people went through the same thing that you went through and read your book and could relate and will go through the process of healing just because they read your book?
And that's why we have to share, because I was one of those people that said, I just don't understand. And then when I get this message, somebody said, well, it was funny how the message came. And I said, I replied, I can't even answer this for myself at this time, because when you're a minister, you're a pastor, you're a bishop, you're whatever, people think if bad things happen to you, oh, you good. No, I'm normal just like anybody else. Jesus at one time had to say, I'm tired. Can you please stay up? Because I'm going to go take a nap. I'm tired. I need to go talk to my father. So I need to go over here. I mean, why should I think I'm anything different? And what the message read was, you know, well, why do you think so many bad things happen to the same person? You know, you can live in a neighborhood and that one house is getting attack after attack after attack. And I don't know, it took me to be a grown-up to say, well, my Lord, my blessing must gonna be so grand. My blessing must gonna be this. And I gotta take joy that my son is resting not in only the father's arms, but my mother's arms as well. And then he get to look around and see my brother and my grandma. You know, do I want to be with them? Yes, but you're leaving me here for another purpose. Now, I've learned if he woke you up, the purpose has not been fulfilled. I've done a lot of things in my short life, but the purpose hasn't been fulfilled. So if he decides to take me on tomorrow, then that means the purpose was fulfilled. He took my child early. This is the child that traveled and climbed the prettiest, highest mountains across the country, did yoga on the most beautiful beaches, overcame depression and overweight and like all these issues that stemmed after a horrible divorce from my ex-husband. You know, this is a child that said, I now know who I am. So I take joy in that as we created the foundation, ES3, in honor of his name, and it's ES3 No Limits, because there are no limits. So we're going to mentor, we're going to coach, we're going to encourage the way he would have. And it's all about good vibes, because he was that good vibe child. So it's all about good vibes.
Wow.
I think Karen, go ahead, Lay.
I always say everything is for a reason. God also say in the Bible, you do not pay attention to my signs.
Yep.
It's signs people that don't pay attention to.
Nope.
God said that he bring people from among you
Yes.
to help you.
Yes.
The people that you don't even think.
Yep.
Why he do that?
Yeah.
Only he know.
The people you don't think, the people you don't expect. And
That's
9 times out of the 10 is those darn people you don't even want to be bothered with.
That's right. And them the ones that he
It's
choose
a reason
to deliver his message and
Yes.
the help of a people.
Yes.
So everybody is being used. Everybody have a purpose in life.
Yes.
If you know the purpose or not. When the purpose come here and you invade and carry out the message, then you will know your purpose.
That's it.
Just like you have a purpose.
Well, and like my husband, he laughs at me because sometimes he'll throw it in a sermon or two. He said, my wife will always say she doesn't have a purpose. She has purposes because I complete projects. I've done so much with different programs. I've done so much with different people. I complete projects and they'd be like, oh, your purpose was to be here this time. So I know I have another one on the list.
Right.
So I said, come on, God, give it to me. And now I understand that, like, faith, the mustard seed is the smallest seed created. And I understand why the Bible reference, if you have faith, only the size of a mustard seed.
Right.
Wonderful thing. Did I know this before? No. Because I'm like, I don't understand. I pray, I do this, I do that. But was I praying right? But was I, seeking him the right way? We could get dressed cute and go to church and we on the roll call. And sister so-and-so happy to see us. Hey, baby. And I'll see you next Sunday. But what was my relationship with God?
That's right.
So I had to get to that point. I had to get to that point to where even now I have to fall back and say, wait a minute. Yes, I was upset after I lost my son. Why should I read the Bible? Why should I do devotional? Why should I pray? It didn't help. It didn't help, and people sit there and they look like, well, you're supposed to be this. No, I'm supposed to be angry. I'm supposed to
you are human.
Right.
You are human. You're human.
And God lined it up where he said, I knew you was going to be upset the end of 2018 and 2019. I needed you to be upset because when you was upset, you sought me a little bit more. When you was upset, you cried out a little bit more. When you was upset, you needed me a little bit more. He said, so go on and be mad. It's okay.
That's right.
Go on and be mad. And so then after I had my pity party, and he gave me a lot of tissue. After I had my pity party, he said, you finished? He's our parent, so he does no different than anybody else that's in charge of somebody. Are you finished pouting? Are you finished crying? I know the tears are going to keep coming because I created them, but I need you to just wipe them down a little bit. And how amazing is he that I can talk and preach and cry? And back in the day, if I started crying, it was over. I'm like, y'all give me a second. Now I'm praying and preaching and crying and throwing stuff through the tears. That's what he said I needed you to do. And when you do that, somebody's always paying attention. And even if it's that person that didn't believe in you, that didn't care about you, and never went through half of what you went through. So now when people say, oh, I can't understand, or I just can't believe. And I always say, I don't want you to have to. I can't believe, I just don't know how you're feeling, when they talk about my son. And the first thing I do, I stop him and say, I don't want you to have to, because I don't want you to speak it into existence. Somebody talked to me at my son's funeral and said, I'm so sorry. We lost him almost exactly a year later. They lost a niece in a car accident. At that niece's funeral, somebody said they were sorry to that person. They lost somebody a year later. I am that person that's like, I joke around and say I'm 2 jobs from FBI. I'm paying attention because now I'm focused on the signs.
Right.
I sat at one of my son's best friend's funeral a year before he passed. The same day I went to another funeral that morning. It stormed while we sat in this little church. I'm sitting next to my son who said, I don't want to be here. He don't like funerals, but he knew he needed the support.
Right.
His friend's sister and mother. Exactly a year later, I lost my child. So I'm paying attention to these babies within this period. So if that's not God trying to tell us something, so when I see somebody post something and it's a slight hint of depression, a slight hint of sadness, I'm all up in it. I'm messaging them. I love you. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Somebody's paying attention. Everything is not LOL because it's not a joke.
Right. Wow.
Woo!
No,
you know what? I usually have something to say. I have nothing to say right now.
When you said about a mustard seed is so little you could barely say.
That's all he wants.
In the Bible, Jesus was talking to his disciples.
Mm-hmm.
He always had them and talked to them. So he told them, y'all go out and help the people.
Yes.
They said, how could we help them? Because we have a little bit of knowledge. He said that knowledge they do not have. Go and teach them.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Karen, that was a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I just want to commend you for, I've been through some stuff, I've been through some stuff. And when people say, I got problems, this and that, it's like, yeah, whatever. But I commend you because you have I don't know what the word is. I guess even the ambition to write it down, to document it so that you can help other people, because everybody has been through some stuff. I guarantee you.
Yes.
But I can't compare my stuff to your stuff or Lay's stuff to Chuck's stuff. But I think for you to write it down, to talk about it, to document it is phenomenal. And I just, I congratulate you. And Chuck, I don't know. I know we got a lot of comments.
Yeah, we got so many. I don't even know where to start. But let's try to start a little bit from the top and work our way in the middle. We'll try to. We got Jamila Watson. What's up, lady? She said, so happy to catch you. We got Kathy Dixon. She says, hi. Is that your twin?
Happy birthday.
She says, yay, Karen. So she's happy with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fatima says Chuck is open to exploring possibilities. Exactly. Thank you, Fatima, for that one. Jamila Watson also say, if I can say or speak, my first time was amazing. I felt important. I felt like a star. And thank you, Jamila, as well. She was talking about the first time that they came on Feel Good Talk. So she also wanted to say sorry for your loss. She was talking to Karen at the time. Same with Kathy as well. And Jamila also stop hiding the truth. And I'm going to try to get through some of these. There's too many of them to get through. But Fatima says, nice, nosy. I like that. The eyes do say a lot. They are the doors to the soul. I like that one. We also have Sky Darling. She's in the house. She says, hello, Feel Good Talk. I'm going to have to go past a few of these. And we have Fatima West. She says, it is so necessary to breathe.
Yes.
Okay. Elise Beanie, she says, good evening. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. We have Fatima West. She says, the freedom to tell your story in a safe place, to self-heal, to give hope to others, to offer solutions on walking through is such an amazing blessing to yourselves and others. Exactly. So we were talking about that safe place to tell your story. We got Sky Darling says, King Chuck, Empress Jamila, King Lele, and Queen Karen. Thank you for this show on Ways to Healing. Yes, indeed. Fatima says, it hurts to hold your pain in. It is affecting your cells, your brain cells, etc. The ability to release the hurt negative system from your body allows for the positive changes to happen to your inner being, the cells and chemicals in your body responses to your emotions. Hashtag release, hashtag free yourself. Hashtag let it out. Hashtag rise. I like that one. She also says, you are needed. You are unfinished. Thank you for accepting and seeking and honoring your purpose. Hashtag good vibes. Hashtag rise.
Amen.
Yes, indeed. We got Kathy Dixon. She says, murder, death, molestation, suicide, abuse is so much for a single soul, and to be able to create the healing process so that we can help many is a blessing. There is a reason we are called angels. Exactly. And again, Karen, again, you're being used as that vessel, to help and heal people. I know it's sometimes it can be unbearing, but believe me, your purpose is greatly needed.
That's
We
right.
need that.
That's right.
And
God always use somebody for something.
Mm-hmm.
yep,
To
exactly.
less people, the person you least expect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
You know, it reminds me of the Bible, of the story of Jonah, I believe.
Mhm.
When God gave him a mission,
Yes.
he refused to do a mission. He
Mhm.
got on the boat and thought he would have got away.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you have all of this storm and so many people in the boat getting mad and say, "Oh man, that was nice out until we got this guy on this boat.
Right.
Now we're getting all this weather." So they stepped to him and asked him, "What's going on?"
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he had to come clean and say, "Listen, God gave me a mission to carry out. I refused to do it. I got on the boat." They said, "Man, you're going to have to get off this boat."
Exactly.
And they spit him out. The whale swallowed him.
Yep.
When the
Thanks,
whale
Lay. It's
swallowed him,
always good
he
to
got
cry in between, laugh in between the
Yeah.
two.
Right. Right.
Yeah. When the whale swallowed him, he got on his knees and said, "Oh God, listen, if you give me one more chance,
More chance.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna get out and carry all of your mission."
Mm-hmm.
He spit him out on the beach. He
Mhm.
got out there and ran and started doing everything God wanted him to do. And you know, I give a lot of speech because I know that that segment of the Bible, and I always relay to the people,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm going to do the opposite of
Yes.
what Jonah have done.
Mm.
I said, when God give me a mission, I'm going to make sure I'm on the front of the line.
Right, right.
And when I'm finished, I'm going to come back and jump the line and get on the front of the line. And to God say, "Listen, Lane, you're going to have to stay on back of the line."
But we gotta love those parables, because how many of us know people or been those people that when we went into a situation or around people, everything got worse.
Mm-hmm.
What they say, you got to hit rock bottom before you could pull yourself back up. You know, and I have to believe that. So if we think about the stories Lay is referring to, and we think about our surroundings, we have people around us. Here they come again. Every time they come, something happens. So we got to start looking at it. Maybe something's happening because it's supposed to. And every bad situation we're in is a learning tool for us to put in that imaginary tool belt, because what they say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I've been through it, somebody else gonna go through it. So we might as well prepare for what's to come.
Right.
You're never gonna not have trials and tribulations. If that's the case, the Bible would not be the living word. You wouldn't be able to pick up scripture and read the same scripture every month for 30 days and get 30 different things out of it. If it wasn't the living word, you get the same thing and say, "I'm sick of reading this." No, it's something different. And what it's showing us is that no matter the season, no matter the time, it's a snowstorm going on right now, no matter the snow, that word is telling us something. When are we going to grab a hold of it and say, I think I understand because I can relate to this? I remember when I was a part of the Ministers' Wives, and I'm sorry to interrupt your reading, when I was a part of the Ministers' Wives and Ministers' Widow Association, we all had one time we had fun. We represented different states. So I represented Connecticut, but then we had to represent each woman in the Bible. Till this day, I can't remember if I chose Mary, the mother of Jesus, or if it was given to me. I had to wear all white. This was prior to my son, losing my son. This was several years ago. I had to wear all white. We had to actually reenact. So I had to reenact. And as I wrote my little poem thing or whatever it was, and I read it, I actually can feel her when she fell to the ground when they hung him on the cross, and she just it referenced that she grabs the gravel like this because she had to hold on to something because the human Mary could not go touch what God has ordained to happen. So she's just sitting there because the woman is crying out for a baby that she know is not only her baby, he was only on loan. So she's crying, like, please, to herself. I wish I could, but since she understood what they say now, the assignment, she was able to have some peace in that. So in myself, I say when I go through these things or I relive some of the things that I had to go through, I say, God, I'm finally starting to understand why I was chosen. I would never completely understand why things had to happen when they happened, because I would have rather been the old lady on the porch that got to see my son live some more life. But I said, no, I'm a relive the life he lived, and I'm gonna find so much joy in it. And as I was finishing my last book, I said, something makes some sense. I have 3 boys. God granted me to see them grow up. I was that mama. I don't care what you do after 18, but you better have a diploma in this house.
Yes, right.
I don't care what you do. So, but he granted me to at least see that with all of them. 2 of them have children, are living with their families, are doing them. This one was still home. He was in and out of home because he traveled so much. He didn't have any kids. So I said, God, did you ease the pain where I didn't have to go on the next 25 years explaining to a child that your daddy is or what happened? Did you ease the pain? Because at first I was doing, that's not fair. I don't have a offspring. But then I said, well, maybe he wasn't supposed to. He was that one that said he didn't like kids, but he loved them. But so I start thinking, because we don't ever want to think other, but had it been this son, then it would have been a grieving spouse and grieving children on top of me grieving, and then I can't breathe, and so right. You got to look at the big picture of it all and say thank you for the little grace and mercy that you cast upon us. I won't understand completely until I see him and he say, job well done, because maybe when he whispered that in my ear, I'll get some answers at that time, because there's some things we're not supposed to know, because if we know, we won't continue on with what he's telling us to do, because some of us get a little high and mighty and say, I'm that one. God only talked to me. No, ma'am. No, sir. He's pouring into us when he needs to pour into us. There are many times I sit here right now, this cup is half full. Chuck, you said something about a cup half full the other day.
Yeah, I said, well, we'll talk about that later.
This cup is half full. Am I going to complain that it's half full? No, I'm going to keep sipping on it. It might end up empty. I'm going to refill it. Are we allowing him to refill us even when we hurt? I know I am an easy-go-lucky person. I praise God for my husband. I'm surprised he's still with me after writing this book, because I went through every emotion somebody could have went through. One night he said, can you please stop writing? And I said, why? He said, because I need you to stop crying for 1 hour. But sometimes we have to do that. This last book should have been finished. It should have been to my publisher months ago. But as I choked up, knowing what chapter I had to get to, I said, I can't do it. But then God kept saying, no, you have to do it. You have to finish it, because I couldn't do nothing else. And people know me, I don't stop. And I said, I got to stay busy. I got to stay busy, because if I stop and pause long enough, I allow the hurt to suppress. And we can't do that anymore. And I like to think, I always thought I was cute when I get dressed. I like my church hats. And I always like to mimic myself or say, I found so much grace and I learned so much from the woman back in the day. Coretta Scott King, her demeanor, her poise has carried me for so long. The Maya Angelou's of the world have carried me for so long, because you look for those people When you lose a mother, you look for those mother figures who you say, oh, I know she was like her. So you listen and you say, and I think Lay said it earlier, you know, people, places will be around you. Is those signs that we pay attention to. So I grab a hold to those. I grab a hold to the Miss Connies at my church.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that mother figure. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 50. How old am I now? 50. I'm 53 years. I'm 53 years old, but a 53 years old child still seeks that mother. You know, and people don't think about that. So that's where writing and talking and mentoring and ministering, that's where it helps me more than it's helping somebody else.
Karen, wow. I mean, you never fail me. And I want to get back to the healing, emotional healing, whew, and spiritual healing.
Yes.
So is that how you healed through your books? Because I know some people go to therapy and counseling. You know, they're on antidepressants.
Mm-hmm. I think,
How did you heal?
well, I didn't. I'm still
healing. You know, you're in the process.
Yeah, I'm still healing, which is what everyone needs to understand. It is day to day. It is month to month. It is minute to minute. It is when you think you're the happiest during the day because something fabulous happened. And while you're trying to be happy, you get a hint of loss. You get a remembrance of why you shouldn't be so happy, which is when God is saying, no, I want you to be happy. I want you to rejoice. Now, I will tell you this. I'm like everybody else, roller coaster sometimes. There are days I do not want to get out of bed. There are days I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. But I have learned on those days, I get up earlier. On those
that
days,
was my question.
Yes,
that was my question.
On those days, I seen
Yes.
this thing on TikTok or YouTube one day. This girl was laying in the bed. She was going through a bad relationship, something, I don't know. And she trained herself when she get up, she need to get up and out of bed. But by the time she counted 10, so if not, you fall back asleep. Then you don't you get the remote and you stay there. You're depressed. It's dark room. And so I remember practicing that one day, and I was like 1, 2, and I got up. But I've learned if I don't want to get up, I get up. I'll put my music, like before I come on shows like this, before I start writing, before I go to work, on my way home from work, or if I'm working at the office or wherever I'm doing, I have to debrief. You know, I check to see if I got the links from you guys, and I shout out messages and all that stuff. And then boom, I put on some gospel music, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I need you to have your way. I'm praying a little bit. Do I need to read something? I'm not answering the phone no more. I'm not looking at Facebook no more. I am like totally debriefing.
Yes.
So when I start to feel myself starting to feel a certain way, I have to do that. I don't need anything. My husband's like, what do you want for your birthday? Well, I don't need anything. Christmas, he did get me several little things, but he got things I needed. He got me a new study Bible. I think so I will leave his stuff alone. He got me a nice new study Bible. He got me a journal book. And then he got me this book called Jesus Listens by Sarah Young. It's a daily devotional. So what I said I need to do for myself, when the journal each day has 3 scriptures on the bottom of each page. So I said, okay, because I'm like, he got me a journal book. I got 1 million journal books. I even wrote a journal book. And so I said, what I'm going to do each day, when I read the day, like this, say day 7, when I read today, the day, I'm going to write the scripture that's at the bottom of the day story. I'm going to study those 3 scriptures for that day. I'm not just going to read this devotion and say, oh, I read devotion for today. I'm going to let it minister to me. If I don't understand it, I'm bothering somebody. Honey, what does this mean? I don't understand. I'm like his worst student. I drive him crazy. But I
want to go back to that question, Karen, because, you know, I experienced, you know, my friend, she died on me. And so there was a point where I couldn't get out of bed.
Yes.
So how do you, on those days, how do you deal with the pain when it gets so just too much.
Well,
How did
sometimes,
you deal with it?
so what I've learned I have to do, I have to let the pain have its way. If I feel I need to cry, I'm gonna cry. I'm sitting in meetings sometimes, and somebody say something, and I'm just like, they just learned past me. Give Karen a tissue. I learned to let my emotions have their way, because the more I hold the emotions in, my head hurts. I'm exhausted. I don't want to eat. But I also sit there and say, I have 2 sons. I have 5 beautiful granddaughters. I have a husband. I have a sister. I have family that cares, and I know they care. I know they're scared and all this stuff, which is why they don't let me be alone on certain holidays, even when I don't want them to come over, which is why they let me. But I've wanted to get in my car and just keep driving. And just keep driving. And I probably would have done that if COVID wasn't around. But then I think, well, no, I don't want this person to worry. I don't want that person. But when it gets to the point when you're feeling a certain way, reach out to someone. If you can't get out of bed, I didn't want to get dressed. I'm like, for what? I praise God for COVID just for me, because I got to wear leggings for the last 2 years. No, but you have
to feel good.
Girl, I got some on right now. But you gotta find what works for you. Okay, so I'm a minister, right? One thing that bothers me, how people treat Christians. Some feel like when you're trying to cry out to them, like you're supposed to know everything. Or you reach out to somebody because you're hurting and you feel that's the only person you could talk to, and they're like, well, maybe you should seek counseling, maybe you should go here, maybe you should go there. I'm like, no, I sought you just to be that ear. I want to tell somebody listening, be the ear for somebody. Don't say the words, just say what you want me to hear. Don't talk and ask them questions. Say, I'm here for the hug. Did you eat today? Don't say, well, you should be all right. It's been 10 months. No, say, did you eat today? Do you need me to come watch the kids for you to take a shower or go walk around the park? Do you need me to cash app you or send Domino's pizza? What do you need me to do outside of being respectful and answering this phone?
Right.
Don't grab people and say, well, you should be better. I don't know who I was watching or listening to one day, and somebody was like, come on. They walked in the girls' room and flung the curtains open. It's like, come on, you got to snap out of this. Don't tell nobody what they need to snap out of. For the love of God, don't say, I understand what you're going through because my cousin lost their father. Nothing compares. Hurt does not compare. Grief does not compare. Me and my husband had this conversation once, because I lost my mom, but I lost my mother tragically. She was murdered. I have the death certificate upstairs in my closet. Says she was stabbed in the left ventricle of her heart. Boom. By the time she got to the hospital, they knew she wasn't going to make it. By grace and mercy, his mom, she was older. She illnesses. We was at the hospital time. You had that closure. So it's kind of different. It's like where my son, boom, car accident. Do not tell me you understand when your child may have had a sickness and they was in the hospital or whatever for 2 years. So it's different. Yes, we are all sympathetic and empathetic for everybody going through something, but never compare. The first Sunday I was able to go outside after I lost my son. Why we went to Walmart on a Sunday after some churches let loose is beyond me. I'm still kicking myself for that, because somebody I don't even know, they was watching. And so they come over to my husband and, hugged him and stuff. And the lady I do not know, I still don't know her. She just knew of me. She grabbed me. Number one, don't grab nobody. She grabbed me, and I had this thing when I lost my son, and I kind of still have it. You get a good 2.5 seconds, and please let me go, because I'm an emotional person. And so she grabbed me, and she was like, I understand what you're going through, because my sister just lost her husband a month ago. I'm just sitting here like, so when we get to the part of healing, and you need to heal, and I know my son, he was feisty. He had a sharp mouth, and No nonsense. And I think when God took him and his spirit went like this, a piece of him went in me, because I've gotten to the point where for my own protection, I have to stop some stuff. For my own protection, I need the vibe to be cool. You know, even when I go help businesses and stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's what you expect from me. This is what I expect in return. And I've learned not to settle. I learned not to deal with stuff. And Jamila, that's the part of the healing process, when you learn to stop dealing with nonsense, when you learn to stop dealing with stuff that hurt you, when you learn to stop allowing people to suppress how you feel and they continue to tell you how you're supposed to feel. No, we have to have our voice. We fight, we march, we do so many things for so many causes that we have to wake up and say, I'm the cause today. I'm the main cause today. Even though people can't say my name right, I am important.
Jamila, like, let me stop. Look who's talking. Let me stop.
I just play with y'all.
But you know what, Karen? Right around after New Year's, you know, after all the holidays and everything, you know, you kind of feel good. It's the holidays. I went into a depression. And it's like, okay, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And I said, God, what's wrong with me? And he said, what you think is wrong with you? So I started a gratitude journal. I wrote down everything that I was grateful for: my bed, heat, clean water, my house, even though I want to move. I mean, everything my car, you know, my chair, lights, and food in the refrigerator, you know, and it pulls me out real fast. So anytime I'm feeling like that, I'm just grateful for air to breathe.
Well, and I think Jamila too, what you have to do, program yourself to do, like around October. For some reason, between Thanksgiving and New Year's is the worst time. I lost a brother to suicide, and I actually lost a brother to suicide during the month of December. And for reasons where some things are still unclear. But and he endured a lot too. But what I will say for a lot of people, and I actually almost worked the hotline for teen suicide prevention. And my husband said at this point, he's happy I didn't, because I carry a lot, and I'm learning to leave other people stuff and hurt. We're at the office or somewhere. But at any given day, I'm getting messages, phone calls. I'm mentoring. I'm starting a mother's meeting this upcoming Friday for women who have lost a child or children. So we're doing a support group I'm starting, because I sat here and I'm looking in the communities and I'm like, hey, we don't have this, or we don't have this specific. So we got to get to the point where what's going to help us through the process and may help somebody else, we need to create it. We need to stop saying I'll wait for it or piggyback on everybody. We got to start creating stuff. So what I would recommend to you, and I'm no licensed doctor, what I would recommend to you is that, since everybody needs to learn what their triggers are. So, and God shows us signs, and like, I know when I'm starting to feel a certain way, because that's when I'm texting my husband before he come home, and I'm like, I need you to bring me some chocolate, or I need some cake with some extra frosting, or I need this. I know when my mind is trying to go back this way. I know this. So I'm like, okay, let me start doing the jugs of water and put some cucumber slices, and let me try to balance it a little before I go into a diabetic attack or something. I don't have diabetes, but I'm just saying, you get a headache from that sugar. But maybe what you have to do is tell yourself, start to pay attention to you when you're starting to feel a certain way. Do I need to shoot a text to somebody? Bother me, text me. You can text me. You ain't got to say nothing else, but why am I feeling this way?
You know, I will.
And I will know how to respond. So find that person that's your person. Find those.
But you know what, Karen? I called my friend and I said, Claudia, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling kind of depressed. She said, well, why would you be depressed? What's wrong with you?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm human.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you have no reason to be,
But
you
that's
don't have any
okay. But
reason to
that's
be
okay
depressed or,
because that taught you who not to call. That
yeah, I
taught you who
guess.
not to text. And I don't know if it was Lay said it on one of the broadcasts or somebody said it, where you have your certain groups of people.
Yeah.
You got your hangout crew. You got your little church crew when you want to act bougie, and then you got your old school friends. You got your
Yeah.
office people that you act and talk a certain way. So find your people for when you're feeling a certain way.
I got your number, honey. I'm gonna text you.
But prepare your mind emotionally, mentally, spiritually for those seasons that and then learn what your triggers are. Some people trigger. I could be walking through a grocery store, and if I smell a certain smell, it take me back to my grandmama's house back in Danbury, Connecticut, like back in 1970, 79. Boom, I can see everything and smell it. But then some people have a trigger. They may smell like some women, that may have been abused so bad. They can walk in a room and see something somebody threatened them with maybe 15, 20 years ago. That's a trigger. They freeze.
Wow.
So it's like, find you. Go backwards and read your writings. And when you write now, don't write necessarily questions to God and stuff. Write down your exact thoughts, your feelings, what you're smelling. If you touch something, was it sharp? Write all that down. Because I tell you this, when you go back about 3 months and you read it, when you're starting to feel a certain way, you're going to see how you came from that, or you're going to start picking up the behavior and like, oh, this happened every third day. Why did this happen? What was I doing on that day? Well, I may have been preparing for a show. I picked up on what you said before the show started, how you was like, how you start to feel if you talk before a show. So it's like, why do I feel this way? Is it a certain show? Is it a certain guest that's delivering something? So you need to start pulling those puzzle pieces out, and then it's going to start to make sense. And then next New Year's Eve, you're going to be having a hallelujah shout down party dance, because you're going to say, I understand who Jamila is on this year. People say Happy New Year, and I'm going to do this New Year's resolution.
Right.
No, I think I said it on this show. I love y'all show. So I think I said it on this show. No, don't wait for New Year's Eve. When your birthday come, you say Happy New Me, and you celebrate a new year, because God done brought you through the mess from the last year that you didn't even think you could get through. How many of us are sitting here and we don't know how we made it to where we are today? How many people are sitting here saying, I didn't think I was going to survive. I'm tired. I'm hurt. I'm in pain. I don't know where I'm going to work. I ain't got enough money in the bank. But how many of you know if you got $1, you got enough? So that's what we have to start being grateful for. I ain't worried about the big house. I ain't worried about 2 or 3 cars. Heck, I can only start one at a time. So we gotta sit there and say, I'm grateful for just being, because somebody didn't make it. 2 funerals yesterday. Me and my husband got to drive to North Carolina for a funeral on Thursday. We have to start being grateful because we're grateful. Do we understand the word?
Yes.
Amen. We understand who and why.
That's
You
right.
know, I always say it's good that, to know a lot of people that are faith-based.
Yes.
A lot of people that we deal with in society, if they faith-based, you can basically tell. Because the ones that faith-based fear God.
Yes.
The ones that not faith-based don't fear nothing.
Nothing.
And it's definitely a difference, and I'm glad that I got into an incident. And under that incident, everything that I have done under that bad accident produced positive.
Yes.
By me reading a lot of books, I produce positivity. So I learn, I search out and embedded myself to be faith-based.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And as me being faith-based, I have learned the power of prayer.
It's work.
I have learned the
Yes.
power of why things happen.
Mm.
I have learned why people is still not here. If this earth been here millions and millions of years,
Yes.
how many people have passed?
Yes.
Right.
You know, just like Moses, when Moses was dealing with his people and he was going through the process, he said he taking his people to the land of milk and honey. But Moses was called up on the mountain.
Yes.
God showed him the beginning and showed him the end. After he seen that and started talking to God, he said it's time for him to go and take his people to the land of milk and honey. God told him, no, Moses.
That's right.
He said, no.
Mm-mm.
He said, what you mean, God? He said, I got to go take my people. He said, no, it's time for you to come home. Let Aaron take them.
Yep. And that was a lesson in itself. Because look how long Moses carried those people.
That's right.
Talked about him, didn't believe him, wanted to go backwards. And and what we read that and we say, man, he did all that.
That's
and they dogged him. And he didn't even, and what we would say is he didn't get to reap the benefits. Right. And we say he didn't get to reap the benefits. So why?
They were going through the process of faith.
Yep. Amen.
It wasn't faith-based.
Amen.
You know, just like somebody has asked one of the prophets and said, when is the time when life ends? The prophet said, nobody knows. I don't even know.
Nobody knows
the
time or the
hour.
hour.
Is God.
Yep.
God, the only one knows.
I don't want to know.
We are here for a certain period of time.
Right.
All we doing is following a blueprint.
Yes.
When our mother give birth to us, is an angel that go in her 40 days after the enter of the seed. And the angel write down the person's life.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
Awesome. So when that time comes, it's nothing we could do.
That's why I don't believe in, people say, oh, you were lucky. It just wasn't your time.
No,
you have accidents and stuff like that. And
that's
you're like, man, how did you survive this? It wasn't your time.
People use luck because they used to hand it for years and years.
It's trained. Yep.
But it's not luck.
Nope.
Everything happened for a reason.
Yes. Right. Come on, grace and mercy.
Yep.
God said, if 3 days you moan, after the 3 days, you must go on with your life. How many people have passed away in millions of years?
Yeah.
You must go on with your life.
That's
you could forget. You could what they said, forget, but you won't forgive, or
right.
You will not forget about the person, but you must move on with your life.
Right.
Why y'all preaching today?
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday. There you go.
Y'all preaching today. Come on.
They said Jesus worked what 6 days and rest 7. Rest on Sunday.
Right.
So we're gonna talk the word of God today.
Yeah.
We got a lot of comments.
I know we do.
Yeah, and we usually get to them, but we're not gonna be able to get to them today. But appreciate everyone out there for commenting. We definitely appreciate that. Definitely.
Yeah. Chuck, before we go, I know this has been a great show. And when I was getting dressed this morning, I was at a concert maybe, I don't know, maybe 5, 10 years ago in Berkeley. And Kim came on the stage and he blessed everybody. I want to bless our audience. I want to bless our guests every week. I want to bless you. I want to bless your families.
Thank
I
you.
want to bless your children, your grandchildren, your finances, your homes. I just want 2022 for everybody to be blessed and live our dreams.
Yes.
Karen, I bless your books. I
Amen.
bless your church. Lay, I bless your businesses, especially them fur coats. I bless,
Watch out now, Peter. Now, go ahead.
You already got blessed with the black seed.
bless the Black Seed Check, your DJing business,
Yeah.
your grandchildren, your grandmother, your
Mhm.
mothers,
Thank you.
everybody that watch Feel Good Talk every week. We are blessed. And
Yes.
I'm humbled to be a part of it. And bless your homes, your wives, your husbands, your future husbands, future wives. I just want to bless everybody.
I
Amen.
appreciate that. That was
You know,
awesome.
the one thing that definitely, and I also want to extend the blessings. The thing, the life that God always told his prophets to go help their people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing. The more you help, you just don't know how much you receive.
Mhm. That's right.
Amen.
Amen. This was an awesome show. Karen, you did your thing. And appreciate it. Lay, you laid it down, and Jamila's always, great.
You know,
Great.
for some reason, this show always bring the best out of me.
Yeah.
Amen.
I think I think it brings the best out of everybody because we feel good. We're
Mhm.
free. We're free to really be ourselves and be who
Yeah.
we really are.
Mhm.
And I mean, Karen, you just I mean, I'm just humbled to be in your presence. And I'm so grateful and appreciative that whenever I call, you fit me into your schedule. And I love you and I appreciate you.
I love you more. I love
Yes.
you more.
Yes. Lay, thank you for coming every week.
Wait a
You know
minute.
what?
Wait a minute. Wait, we're going to have to start making this 2 hours. We're not finished.
Chuck
We are
got
not
things
finished.
to do. Chuck
Listen,
got to play
listen,
basketball. He got to go DJ. He got to go for a run before it gets
hey, Chuck,
dark.
we just
He
getting
can sit here
started.
all
Chuck.
day.
I
Chuck got
know.
things to do. Chuck don't sit
know.
still too long. We lucky we got this hour. But
Mm.
it's just like, the week you didn't come on, Chuck's like, where's Lay?
Mhm.
I said, I don't know what Lay is. Let me look in my pocket. So, you're definitely part of the family. And,
Thank you. And I appreciate that.
you. We love you. And, I mean, like you said, we can go on and have a hallelujah good time. Can anybody sing? Karen, can you sing?
I sing sometimes.
I can't.
Can you sing us out? Sing something?
Oh,
And
my
we
God.
all blessed. And, can you sing a little something?
Cameron, take us on.
And our praise dance.
Kathy, come here. Kathy, come here.
Oh, Kathy's in there. Oh, okay, Kathy. All right, give it up for Kathy.
No, come stand right here. We got
Come here, Kathy.
Cameron, you part of the ministry. Come on now. Take us home.
On our show next time.
She said she'll sing out. She'll help me sing out. Y'all gotta invite her on the show next time with me.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, you come on now.
She's always invited.
Yeah,
Y'all,
always.
Kathy, Karen, Kathy. You guys are she's always invited.
That's a twin sister.
Yeah, twin
Yeah.
sister. Yeah.
Come on, take us home.
Okay, she said one line. Okay, come on. You want me? You want me to
Come on,
start? Yeah.
Kathy.
Come on, Kathy.
I'm not coming over.
Come on. I need to hear your
We
outfit.
gotta see you. We gotta see you, Kathy.
Come on, Kathy.
Come on, Kathy.
No,
Come on, you
I'm
look
not-
cute.
No.
She said she's not dressed. She got a hoodie on. Chuck got
Oh,
a t-shirt.
please.
And Lay
Look
got
at
a
me. I got a
Kathy.
baseball cap on.
Listen,
Well, okay, Chuck, just double Karen's picture and we'll pretend like Kathy's.
There you go. Yeah.
Here she
Okay.
come.
Okay, come on. Wait. Okay, come on.
Here she come.
Because of who you are. I can't hear you. Turn your phone off.
Oh my God, I don't want to be on here.
Come on. I see what I deal with for 53 years. Okay. What song? Hurry up.
I'm not prepared.
The only one I want to be on here for 2 hours is Lay. Hurry up.
Kathy,
You
come
know I
on,
don't have no
Kathy.
voice. Did they see our show last night? I don't have
No,
voice.
he missed it. Come on.
I
Come on,
couldn't see
Kathy.
it,
We
but
ain't talking about no show. We talking about the word of God now. You should
Come
be
on.
always ready for that.
All
Put
right.
me on the spot.
No, come on. For real.
Chuck, you want to play your commercial while they trying to
yeah,
do
I'll
the
tell you what,
A and B
we'll-
selection?
Okay. I got a song ready. Go ahead and play your commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna play the commercial. We're gonna come
And
right
yo,
back.
Come on.
Kathy, get
This is-
ready. We want to
Yeah,
hear
get ready,
you.
Kathy.
We coming back.
Yes, indeed. This is the A game. All right, here we go. And this commercial is called Energy. So we're gonna get that energy flowing so y'all get those lungs ready and that vocal cords. Here we go. And that's the A game, great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. So if you want your free sample, you may call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836. Hey, you can check us out all over the place. We're on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk, Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, Instagram at Feel.GoodTalk, and you can email us at feelgoodtalk113@gmail.com. We have a website, www.feelgoodtalk.net. So there you have it.
We
right.
want Kathy. We want Kathy.
We want Kathy.
Come on.
Come on, Kathy.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I give you glory because of who you are. I give you praise. You just stop laughing to get over here. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, Lord, I worship you because of who you are. Lord, I worship you because of who you are.
That's it.
All right.
You don't want to sing no
That was
more.
good.
On my picture.
Y'all did y'all thing. Y'all did y'all thing. All right.
Just show the picture.
Oh,
Where's
nah,
Kathy at? We want to see
nah.
Kathy.
No,
Where's
Lay,
Kathy at?
no, Lay. She said no, Lay.
Next time, Karen, when you come, Kathy automatically will come too. I was going to ask you some questions about her and how she dealt with everything, but we'll get to her next time. So she's part of the family, even if she's invisible. We know how she looks. We just imagine
And
two
that
of you.
actually would be good, Jamila, especially since not only we're sisters, we're twins. Because people think we dealt with it the same way, raised our kids the same way, and all that. So that's a good topic.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
I was thinking about that too. But you know, we're out of time, and this has been a great show.
Awesome
Great show.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
Awesome
you for having me.
show. And we just want to thank everybody again, Chuck, and
Yeah.
let's
We
ready.
want Kathy. We
Wait,
want Kathy.
Kathy, just show that hoodie. Come on, girl, stop playing.
Show the hoodie. One time.
No.
Go hoodie.
No.
She's not gonna come.
She's the one with the bigger smile. What happened? I thought you. Oh.
I wasn't invited, so I'm not prepared.
Oh man! All right, no problem. We'll catch you.
You're
later.
always invited, your family. So
Yeah.
next time, and next time, hopefully the next book or whenever y'all want to come back, you're welcome.
Yeah.
If y'all both want to come back, let's set that up. But
Okay.
you're always welcome,
Mhm.
your
All right.
family. Okay.
I'm gonna let Jamila
Ready,
take us
Chuck?
on out of here. Yeah,
Yes.
you know how to do
Thank
it, Jamila.
you.
All right. So we're gonna peace out. Kathy, you with us? You gonna
Love
peace
you.
out? All right. 1, 2, 3.
Hey.